Town Hall Heroes.
Happy birthday,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to Town Hall Heroes, the Heroes of the Storm podcast that talks about Heroes of the Storm. I'm Solid Jake, and this week we've got Dunk Train and Bakery with me. Zoya, unfortunately, is not with us as he's dealing with a sad day for himself. But we've got a lot to talk about. The PTR patch has come out. We've got some teams qualified for the HGC midseason brawl. Not that guy, though. We'll get there. Sorry, Bakery. I love you. I love you. It was heartbreaking. It was, but Fnatic played well. One of our topics for today. We also have got the HGC EU Crucible teams confirmed, giving us a good look at some familiar faces that we haven't seen in a while. If you don't watch HGC EU, faces like Grand Paquete, BKB, Zarmony, all making it back to that stage potentially to crawl themselves back into the Pro League. And then Bloodlust invites are mostly confirmed. We've had the voting process going for about a week here. We know that Gale Force has made their way in. Team Freedom got their invite, and Temple Storm got their invite. And if you look immediately above me, you can see the current standings for the final two teams. B-Step and Team 8 will be decided at the end of the show. So that the votes close at 8 p.m. Eastern, less than 2 hours from now. You can vote at smash.gg/bloodlust. The team with the most votes between B-Step and Team 8 will be the fourth team and final team invited to compete in Bloodlust this year. Boom, rambling's done. Dunk Train, what's up, buddy?
Hey, man. Yeah, so I'm back this week. Last week I had an issue on Wednesday and couldn't make the show. I actually was at the doctor's office while the show was going on, but I'm back now. And luckily we have even more patch notes to talk about and Tyrande rework, which I'm sure we'll get to. So looks good.
Dude, she's my bae, and I'm very excited about the rework. Baker, he doesn't have a chef hat this week, but he's here.
I felt a bit naked about the chef hat, I really enjoyed it last week. No, but seriously, it's been a good week. Maybe not. Obviously had close series against Fnatic in the HGC, and we lost, so that actually secured them a place in the mid-season brawl. So congratulations to them for that. And we're going to be working hard over the next 2 weeks to qualify along with them.
Yeah, that's, I think you will. I think you are definitely the favorite side. I mean, it was a really good series. Definitely check out the VODs for that, and we're going to get into that very soon. First topic today is going to be PTR. If Zoya was here, he'd ask me, Jake, how are you doing? He actually cares. Zoya loves me, And, Zoya, I'm doing great, buddy. I got my first winner chicken dinner. Watch this. Look at this. Can I do this? Can I production this properly? Wait for it. Keep waiting for it. Hold on. Nope, that's not the right thing.
Production intensifies.
I'm so close. What did I name the file? I named it Ninja. There we go. Look at that. I started playing PUBG recently.
You got one kill?
One kill. The only kill that mattered, Bakery. That guy right there on the ground. And that won the round. I was a ninja. I crawled around. I hid in the bushes the whole game. 99 players. Only this guy saw me. And the moment his eyes glanced on me, his eyes were shut. Permanently. PUBG. Game is intense, man. That and Dauntless. I can't really talk about Dauntless since it's like NDA, but Zoya and I started playing last week. Zoya's going to start, or Dunk's going to start playing on Friday, and that game's pretty cool. We hyped it up a few weeks ago. It's very fun. But lots of heroes as well. Grinding the PTR a little bit, and let's just jump into the PTR discussion because, let's face it, Tyrande's the best hero in the game. She always has been, but now she actually is. What is it, like a 3-second cooldown on her cleanse at level 4?
It's not really a cleanse.
Well,
it's different enough that it's not really a cleanse.
Okay, well, Just because you
But,
can't
yeah.
pre-cleanse?
And it only affects stuns.
Oh, that's true. I always forget about that.
Yeah. But it is interesting. I don't know. Are we gonna talk about it like by tier or just in general?
I'm slowly loading. the
Okay,
PTR.
okay. So just in general then, while you're bringing up the specifics, I don't know if Bakery feels the same way, but I feel like they experimented a lot more with Saranda's talent tree. Like she has a lot more talents that have effects that are less common, that are maybe a little more out there. And I actually really like it. I think some of the talents are like pretty clearly bad, but there's like a lot of direction that I like to see them, kind of feeling out with the talent tree.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, the thing that blew my mind is as soon as I saw them put a quest on just a base ability, I was like, oh man, this works for me so good. Like, and then, yeah, I mean, the level ones, it's like, so I was basically thinking, right, if I was to design a talent tree for a hero, how would I do it? And I did a bit of working out, and I came up with the conclusion of, like, I would go for, like, at level 1, you get to choose your role that game. So let's say it's like a damage dealer. You can choose poke damage. You can choose like execute damage. You can choose burst damage or something. Sustain damage. And then like you can build into those different things. And level 1 for Tyrande, like exactly as I would do, is you can build Owl, you can build Stun, or you can build Alter. And I really, really like the level 1s especially, but all throughout the tier, there's a lot of just interesting things, which, okay, some of them maybe not balanced very well just yet. But for example, level 7, there's a talent which is just mathematically worse in every situation than True Shot, and it's somehow on the same tier. I'm not quite sure how that got through, but overall, I'm a really big fan of this talent tree, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how Darnasty and Archery. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you lose this bonus when you attack not here, so you accidentally click a minion. Shit! And sorry for yelling profanities, everyone, but that's the kind of day I'm having right now. Huntress Fury, I think True Shot's just really good. Huntress Fury is interesting because, like, I got it on a couple of the maps where we were really just lacking lane clear, and it's like, it's okay having that splash. I mean, the effect looks pretty neat, actually. I don't know what the damage would look like when it comes to combat. It's not like it's splashing your hunter's mark. It's just giving your auto attacks splash, and her auto attacks did get nerfed in this patch.
Yeah, and the radius on that talent is super small.
Yeah, true.
But
hits a minion wave. But
yeah, if you mark the wizard, you can hit the whole minion wave. But the level 1 quests, I mean, we should probably start there since Bakery mentioned that it kind of, you choose a specialization in some sense, but also I think these are interesting. I like that between the W and the E quest, it doesn't feel like you're like making too narrow of a talent tree, if that makes sense.
Right.
By having to choose between those two. The Ranger's Mark 1, I'm a little iffy just because I feel like it has maybe too much synergy with the auto attack talents. But again, I do like the quests here. I think there are some interesting choices. Like, we've seen more multi-stage quest rewards, unlimited quest rewards. I think these are neat.
Yeah, like you said, in the past, if you went Owl build, you had to grab all of the Owl talents. Like, you were committed to that. And, before, like, Lunar Blaze and everything, there was a few E-talents, but I think this is the only E-talent in the game now, right? You have Lunar Blaze, and then there's Shooting Star at 20, and that is it. Which is cool. It's like, all right, you go that, you've gotten yourself, a little bit more burst, right? If you farm this up, you get burst, you get the additional range eventually, you're getting the utility out of it, and that's it. And, you get to make decisions after that. So how do you guys feel about Ranger overall? And I guess the W build as it exists compared to the old W build?
Okay. So
go ahead.
I think that the W build actually has quite a few issues just in terms of her current iteration of this tree, because Ranger, I think, is like a solid level 1 talent. It actually gives like a surprising amount of damage. It can end up being much more damage than before, for sure. But it's like, you pick this talent level 1, you get nothing to, like... So Owl's an 18-second cooldown. So you get to use it once in a team fight. In the early game, it's not going to be piercing, and it hasn't got any more radius increases. So potentially you could miss this. That's like a decently high chance. Even if you don't, you're only going to hit 1, maybe 2 people from like most of this pre-10 early game. And then, like, you're probably not going to be cross-mapping with it because, again, you don't have the radius, but you also need to stack this so that you then pierce later game. So it just feels like, straight up, having only Ranger as your only Owl talent until level 13, it just creates this, like, I think a huge issue where she's not doing anywhere near as much than if she had the other talents at this stage. And then even when we hit level 13, it's like 4 seconds, you know, that's when the build gets empowered. So your power spike is at level 13, but this is also the only build without a level 20 talent. So it's not even a late game build. It's no, like no early game, bad late game. But that mid game, that level 13, you're going to nail it.
Well,
like
you say there's no late game, but if you go Starfall, there was one game where I got it around 50 stacks in the Owl, and at 50 stacks, it's like 260, 270% damage or whatever, empowered. When you throw down the Celestial Wrath and slow everyone and apply Hunter's Mark to the whole team, and you shoot an Owl at everyone, it is the most hilarious thing in the world because they just die. You have to be, you know, decent distance for the Owl to do the damage, but like you said, you know, that's such a specific situation. You miss the Owl, it's 8 hits just to get 1 pierce. So 8, 16, 24, 32, you know, just to try to stack up those pierces for your team. I mean, Dunk, do you agree that the Owl build is lacking in its iteration compared to, you know, especially in the early game? And how would you fix that?
I think maybe they should have just wrapped in a slight increase to the base radius of Owl
with Ranger,
since they removed the talent entirely. No, probably base. Like, I mean, I don't think you need to tie it behind Ranger because even if you don't take the Ranger talent, the Owl's impact is, like, if you don't take Ranger, Owl's impact is really low until 13. And I don't think it would hurt anything to have it have like 20% more radius just to make stacking a little easier. But I'm not really sure if we should be looking to do buffs to Tyrande right now. Even if I do agree with Bakery that, like, game I played with Ranger, I felt like I couldn't tell if I was upset that I wasn't hitting Owls because I was so used to having the radius talent, or if the ability actually just is a little too narrow for like the mid-range Owls that are some of the most fun things about Tron. Like, yeah, cross-map Owls are just silly and they rarely actually impact anything. In terms of like competitive, it's pretty rare that those hit. You're usually using it for vision for cross-map, but like the mid-range Owls where I felt like a little bit of prediction and leading the target, those felt so much harder without radius that it really does take away from the impact of the range determined bonus damage. So yeah.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I actually had an example, which is really common on Cursed Hollow when you have Tyrande. Like a really common play just in every Cursed Hollow game is to trade bosses. So it's past level 13, and we're doing our boss, and we know that they're doing theirs. So I shoot an Owl. Now, on live, Tyrande, I'd say hits at least 1 person, usually 2, sometimes 3. Just by doing that simple, I know where they're basically going to be stood. Here's my best guess. Well, this happened to me. I played 2 games with Tyrande and Cursed Hollow, and I missed them on boss twice because of that radius. And I'm so sure that I would have hit 2 or 3 if I still had the radius.
I noticed the same thing. It feels bad. Like any Merc camp, you know where they are. 2 to 3 people taking a Merc camp. It doesn't even have to be the boss. It could be like, all right, it makes sense for them to be with the Knights right now. We know they're there. And it's so easy to sidestep. You can actually position on the corners and just assume the Owl's coming and like not even think about it and dodge it with her existence. And without the radius, like that's always going to be the case.
Yeah, it's so easy to sidestep now. I felt like you just, if you actually need, like, let's say you need the damage from Owl to kill someone, like you can only hit it if their CC change, basically, or they're just bad, because it's so trivially easy to sidestep. That was my impression.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want to, nail this into the ground too much, but if you had to make one change, do you think radius is more important than reducing the number of hits needed to gain pierce? Or...
Yeah, I actually love you get more piercing, like the more accurate and more shots you hit. I think that's like an interesting...
It's really fun.
...thing. Yeah, I think it's fun to like feel really good about hitting even an owl that's like not that useful. It feels really good because like, oh yeah, I'm closer to my next pierce, right? Like I like that feeling. I think it's cool.
It's so funny. As soon as the map starts, you shoot that owl. You try to get it through the gate. You can glitch it through the gate. And you just pray that it hits. It's like, oh yeah, one down. When the gates aren't even open yet, boys. Like,
yeah.
Okay, well, that's the Toronto talent. What about Lunar Blaze? How much have you guys played with Lunar Blaze? You guys like the way that, you get 20, you get the additional range for it, that ramps up the impact, the play makes for it, and of course you can farm up the damage. This seems like a good talent, a very good level 1 talent.
Yeah. The thing is, any of these quest talents are like so broken if you consider them in comparison to like a lot of the really mediocre level 1 talents that a lot of heroes have. It's pretty funny. But not necessarily a problem. I do like the quest talent. I think it's a reasonable thing. I'm not sure the damage needs to stack infinitely, but I also don't know if like how much it matters. I'm pretty sure because it doesn't say the damage caps, I think I think the stacks keep going after 20.
Oh yeah, for sure they do. I had a game where I had 55 stacks of this, and it was insane. Like I was doing so much damage. But yeah, this is my go-to right now on PTR. It just feels like it's super reliable, and then once you have like in the early game, because you're having to spam E to try and get the stacks, and you're spamming W to try and get the stacks, you have like some mana issues. But then if you go this build with like Lunar Flare costs no mana, Owl ends up costing like no mana, then all of your mana goes on your heal, and so it's just like you can get so many heals out late game and not be restricted by mana. And I think that's actually going to be an undervalued part of Lunar Blaze at level 1. It's just removing the mana cost.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because that really does free you up for sure.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. You have so many mana. Like during the laning phase, I was playing Braxis solo healer, and in the 4-man, I ran out of mana in literally like 35 seconds. Like just auto-attacking wave and trying to heal on cooldown, it was insane. But that was the game I was trying Ranger, so I definitely would have been in better shape with Lunar Blaze once we got at the mid game.
Yeah, they all seem really good. I mean, even Ranger's Mark, you're talking about additional time. Every 60 basic attacks, you have an additional 1 second of duration on Hunter's Mark, which is insanity. Like if you're managing to just get a lot of autos in to farm up that Hunter's Mark, like that's, dude. Imagine like an 8-second Hunter's Mark. Like, what do? You die. That's what you do. It's like, oh, they're gonna cast Crystal Aegis on me. I'll be good. No, nope. It's just gonna keep going for like 5 more seconds. Bye, buddy. But
yeah,
her level 1s are beast. Just to jump in and inject this before we move to level 4, because I know level 4 is going to be spicy. B-step points, you can see just updated here. I don't know who just dropped a Spirit Bomb on Team 8, like a Spirit Bomb of votes, but they were like way behind B-Step, and now it's actually super close in the voting, and we'll be tracking that all show long. Votes close for the final team in Bloodlust at 8 p.m., so that's when the show ends, and that will that's what you see right above me here. But let's move into level 4 on Tyrande. So Moonlit Arrows, that's in theory like the healing build, right? You want more cooldown reduction. Celestial Attunement, you got the Light of Elune remove stuns. This is the pseudo cleanse built into level 4 on her Q. Her Q is what? It's a 12-second cooldown now, and then every auto removes 2 seconds. But you could go for the reduced cooldown with Moonlit, and then Caldoi resistance is spell armor, which is also stacks up to 4 times, which is crazy. Let's discuss, starting with Moonlit.
I did the 2 games I played. I didn't get a chance to try Moonlit because I judged it, in my impression, to be the least valuable one for general use. Maybe Bakery feels differently, but I feel like that's such a marginal talent compared to the other two.
Right. I mean, the only cases I could think of a case here is like they don't have mage, they don't have stuns. Cool, great. We're fighting an Illidan Abathur comp, and that's maybe when you would grab it. Bakery. What are your thoughts?
So I actually took this one most of my games, I'd say. Okay, maybe not most. I took it like a fair percentage. Not because I thought it was good, but to me, this is the learn the hero talent. So
yeah.
Going back to what I was saying earlier about how I did my talent tree, I made sure that one of the builds was basically it kept very close to the base kit. It didn't change how you'd want to use your abilities. It just made them better or gave them an extra effect that was in the same vein. And I think that's definitely what Moonlit Arrows is here. I'm learning Tyrande. I don't want to focus on trying to move stuns. I'm not that good. I can't even use cleanse. I don't want to focus on I'm having to auto attack 4 times per heal to actually stack this spell armor. So I'm just going to take this talent. It's going to make me slightly better. It's still an improvement, but it's the same kit. So that's why I was taking it. I was just trying to learn the hero, get more comfortable with the kit, and so on. And I think it's a good talent to have, but for sure it's not going to be the optimal one.
It's not going to be the competitive talent, but it is a reasonable talent to exist in the game.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're saying? Yeah, okay. I totally agree with you. Yeah.
I like the way you put it, though. It's I'm learning Tyrande. This is my entry level. I don't want to think about it. It's just going to make my life easier talent without having any extra burden of worrying about saving that heal for a stun and so on and so forth. Because that does create some anxiety for some players. Some players are just not willing to have to try to figure out how they balance their heals. Your heal is your cleanse. So finding the correct balance there's an art to it for sure. But I actually think all 3 talents are super cool. The fact that she has spell armor early game, right? Tyrande's healing has always been kind of and I guess we should step back and talk about her Q just base now. The fact that they've changed it quite a bit. Before, it would be you heal someone else, you get the self heal. It was always a mistake to alt click yourself with the heal. It would even be more beneficial to heal a minion, right? Like that's like what you would do. Like, oh, that archer's gonna die. Well, hey, he's gonna live on for another 4 seconds. Not the case anymore. She can spam them out. They heal less, right? They heal less. They cost
significantly less if you include the self healing lost.
Right. But she can spam them out pretty frequently. But she still puts out pretty good healing, as long as you're getting autos. And if Tyrande is zoned, if you can keep Tyrande from being able to safely auto, she does no healing up
as
a healer. She is absolutely terrible. And
even worse than Uther.
Do you guys think that's a healthy, good design? Because this hero has a very, very aware weakness, but she has a lot of strengths.
Kind of conflicted on this one. I think I like the fact that healing is way higher in fight, and then out of fight it goes down. That just means that she does actually have a sustained healing weakness while not being weak in fights. But I do think this implementation is a bit weird. So Oreo is another one, kind of similar design. In fight, good healing, but out of fight, really struggles. Well, Tyrande doesn't need to auto-attack heroes for this bonus. Tyrande can auto-attack minions. So her team can, let's say you're fighting a tribute, and you have position on mid lane. She has in-fight healing just from your team stalling while you hit a minion wave, which does seem pretty weird to me. I got a few times, on Sky Temple as well, when I was just hitting mid-wave, healing my team while they fought the Sign. And since I was attacking on cooldown, it was insane healing output. So maybe they need to do something about that. Maybe heroes give 2 seconds cooldown reduction, but minions give 0.75 or something like that. But I like the concept, I think.
It's interesting, keeping enemy walls alive so that you have something to fall back to and, just throw some autos at. Anything like that is actually just really useful for her. It's not something we've had, right? And something where there's a base ability that has battle momentum built into it. Has that ever been a thing?
Yeah, there's definitely one right now. Trying to think of what it is. It was something that didn't have it initially, I'm pretty sure. But I don't remember.
I'm not sure. Chat will get us if it's there, but cool. Well, we can just continue on. I mean, I love the way the queue exists. I find it's really rewarding if like you're getting jumped on by one person. You're like, okay, I can run, or I can sit here and auto this guy and heal myself and stay alive for a little bit longer and hope that that's the right decision, because you can spam out a lot of heals if you're shooting out those autos. But level 7, we've got the actually we didn't really talk too much about Celestial Attunement, and I know Dunk, you wanted to compare that to Cleanse.
Well, yeah, I think it's a really cool Cleanse variant. I think it makes her like, my concern is that maybe Celestial Attunement is like just super insane in a small number of matchups and then useless outside of that, which is not my favorite thing to happen, but I think it's really cool. I like that it rewards you for having good judgment of holding the Q by, like, so let's say you're holding Q to get rid of a stun. That feels bad because it's wasting the passive portion of the heal, where, like, the CDR. So you're not getting CDR because you're not putting your heals out because you're trying to save them, and then it rewards you for that if you do it correctly by compensating with one extra heal cast. I think that was really important to put in there. If it had just removed stuns, it would have been pretty much unpickable because you would lose so much healing throughput to ever pick that talent, because you'd have to be holding your heal all the time. The second one is really fun. I like the second portion of that is really fun. So I was just glad that was there. I think it's cool.
Okay, well, I have some things to say about this talent. This is my favorite talent that's been added to the game
ever
in a long time, for sure. So if you guys remember, way back in 2015, there was a cleanse where they removed the Unstoppable, and it removed all CC, and then gave Relentless for 2 seconds. And there was a really neat trick that you could do, where you could... Oh my god, what happened to me?
I'm trying to chroma you, Baker. Just keep talking.
Okay. So there's a very cool trick that you can do, where a stun would come if you timed your cleanse correctly. Then you could like effectively pre-cleanse someone, and they would act as if they were never stunned. So, for example, someone's channeling Mosh Pit, and you time the cleanse correctly on an interrupt like Mjolnir Stormbolt, the Mosh would just continue channeling.
Right.
That's actually back with this Tyrande level 4. And there was an amazing moment that I had on PTR where there was an Uther that Benediction stunned. I time his first stun, so the guy just keeps running. Then I timed the second one as well, like 2 in a row. I was like, "Wow, I'm so good at the video game."
You got a perfect cast, right? Like right as the Hammer of Justice comes.
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
Really cool.
It's like a 3-frame window or something, I think.
Which
Twice.
is like literally 0.1 second. Yeah, so that's badass, and with latency too. What a god!
No, it wasn't with latency.
There's always latency, even if it's 30 milliseconds.
Oh well, yeah. It was like 30 ping, something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that interaction from reading that talent. I don't think it ever came up in my games, but that's neat.
Yeah, that's.
You like that? You think that's how it should be? Like, you think it should be able to block
feels
CCs?
super impactful when someone does it. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it does feel nice, but it's just weird to use it to protect channeling things. I don't know.
No, I mean, in my example, it wasn't actually to protect the channeling thing. He was just running away from the Uther.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, I mean, I get that you think it's kind of weird. But it's still so cool, Doug. Come on.
Yeah, no, I think the cleanse one was amazing because it was like every healer had it, and it was like a mechanic that was worth practicing on every healer type thing, and it was good to reward skill. This one doesn't read like it should do the same thing, and I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I was just interesting. I wouldn't have expected that interaction. I don't think it'll be a problem realistically, but
no,
it's cool.
It's just a cool thing. Like that could be the difference between someone's life and death, right? If they perfectly time that heal when a storm bolt's connecting on someone, and they just keep moving like nothing ever happened. Like just the damage doesn't even show up because the heal came through. Who knows? Could be really cool.
Yeah. And then Calderai Resistance, I mean, I think that one is really powerful. I was surprised they made it so you had to roll. You get 4 autos in order to roll it, like without dropping the stacks. But I think even if you're a new player, even if you're like not that great at maximizing your auto attacks, I think you're going to get a ton of value out of Call to Our Resistance. Like if the enemy doesn't have stuns, I still think it's better than Moonlit Arrow, and just accept that you're going to get 15 spell armor, and like that's still a lot of potential damage block without needing to roll it over and over, you know?
Yeah, like 15 is still good, actually. Like,
especially on anyone who has their own, like 15 is a lot to add on top of someone else.
On a noob? A noob 40% resistant?
Yeah, on one heal. Yeah.
At least 40%, actually.
Even on like a melee form, Greymane, man, like he goes from 10 general armor to like 25 spell armor. That like means no mage could even look at him when he goes in. So
that's a shit ton of spell armor, and like level 4 too, which is like insanity. But at least you have to, consciously, farm that up, get that spell armor in. How long does it last? 3 seconds?
No, it lasts 6.
6 seconds.
So it's really powerful.
Yeah, that is really powerful. All right, chat's yelling at me because my freaking monitor. Now you got this super up close. Oh. By the way, those are our new emotes in the Arcane 8 channel. Selfless, shameless plugs. Just shoving them up in everyone's face. This is Heroes of the Sellout. Oh, wait, we got this one more.
Speaking of Heroes of the Sellout.
Oh, Baker, you get that one. You get the Town Hall one.
Oh,
we don't have a Bakery face yet. Someday.
We're working on it. Don't you have that graphic that you can put up right now?
What graphic?
About Bloodlust?
Oh, yeah. That's a website, but...
Oh,
this one. Yeah!
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Oh, look at these shirts you guys could buy. You see those shirts? You could own one, and then by buying that shirt, hoodie, or bracelet, there's a bunch of things. I mean, wristband. You end up not only supporting the tournament, you could unlock things like the Hot Pepper Challenge. You could unlock additional casters like Inverum. Inverum is actually up for crowdfunding. Fly him down here to the Americas, get him out of the wilderness known as Canada. And tonight, the last couple hours, holy shit, Teammate just got a mega shit ton of votes. They went from 392 to, I just watched it happen live, to 550. You could vote like whoever just dumped a ton of votes on Team 8. So Team 8, or one of these teams, will be invited to Bloodlust. Team 8 or B-Step and Team 8 have the advantage. Dunk looks so concerned with Zoya looking at him. He's like
No, I was testing if you could roll the heal with only 3 autos, because someone said that in chat. In try mode, it works most of the time, but I would be surprised if it works in real games, and I'd be surprised if you can do it on anyone other than yourself with alt Q casting. But sometimes I can get the spell armor to roll with 3 auto attacks, even though technically that probably shouldn't be the case.
Oh, it's 0 ping.
Yeah, 0 ping in try mode. I know, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it'll work in real games.
It's the one frame thing again.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why I was very concentrated on what I was doing.
That's all good, man. If Zoya was here, he'd be saying, vote for my team, B-Step, but
Dude,
teammate...
No, wait. Hang on. I'll step up in place of Zoya. Right? Guys, you gotta go vote for B-Step because we're gonna do an AMA. There's an AMA if we get voted in. I mean, we're gonna stream from the boot camp, guys. We're all gonna be streaming. We're at the NVIDIA office, guys. We got boot camp for playoffs. We'll all be streaming. Vote for us. AMAs streams. I'm from America, and I sound like an idiot. Right. Is a segment finished?
Nice.
Hold on. I have to update this scene to title T, aka #sellout. Damn! Sweet. All right, back to the actual podcast where we talk about the video game and our sweet balance patch here in the PTR with level 7 talents being surrounded by auto attack type damage. So Toronto's, you get Huntress Fury, which gives you Splash. Then you've got Darnassian Archery, which you get the attack damage for 4 seconds. Wait, I didn't actually grab this. What does it do? Basic attacks against enemy heroes grant stacking 5% increased damage bonus for 4 seconds. So it stacks. But you can only use against heroes, and if you hit a minion, you lose it. That sounds terrible. That's why I never grabbed it. And the True Shot, which now has an activatable. You've got the 10% natural, then you got the 1 minute team fight. Let's go. Let's blow up these nerds. Activate, which I think feels really good. I'm glad they gave it an activatable. Thoughts on Huntress Fury?
The splash range felt too small for it to be good enough to ever pick. Just True Shot Aura adds way too much value to your team, and I don't think you can ever take the other two talents on this tier.
All right, Doug, I need to stop you because B-Step is suddenly at 1322. What the hell? Now that's a Spirit Bomb. Holy turdaronies.
Turdaronies?
That's a Jake champ if I ever saw one. Okay, so Dunk, you said True Shot or bust.
Yeah.
What if you're in quick match and your lane clear is booty butt cheeks and you're playing on Braxis holdout? Is it worth ever trying to go for Huntress Fury to deal with those little Zerglings?
No.
Not even worth
it.
That's
actually the situation I tried it in, and it was still awful.
Okay. So I actually had a different opinion. So there was this wave bot lane on Sky Temple. And I have no idea how this happened. There wasn't like an Azmodan or an Abathur or anything. But somehow this wave got so big that it was body blocking itself on the bridge. It was like the biggest wave I've ever seen. It was absolutely insane. It was at least this big on the screen. Like, I'm not even kidding. And there was an easy camp with it that they just took. So I marked the easy camp and I started attacking. I cleared the whole wave. It was insane. And that whole game, actually, I thought I got decent value. I don't think it's as good as Two Shot, just because it kind of feels like you're rolling a dice. Like most team fights, it's not going to do much. Most situations, it's not going to do much. And then, you get the 300 minions on the bridge and Sky Temple, and suddenly it's really value. But I don't know. I don't think it was that bad. I think it was actually really good. And we were saying earlier about clearing a minion wave with it. In my experience, I was marking a melee minion and then clearing the whole wave. I didn't need to mark the wizard. Yeah,
I couldn't get consistent on the furthest wizard when I did melee. I mean, the furthest range when I did melee. But it probably depends. Because so sometimes they line up like sequentially instead of like straight across. Like there's some weird things that But I bet you could get it to work most of the time. But it's still just like, you should just have someone else doing your wave clear. Like, realistically.
I mean, probably,
So I need to stop for a second because Cattle Prod, who is like a super dedicated fan of this community, he has been to like so many events, an amazing guy. He's even an emo on my channel. S. Jake Wow. Guy is a god. He donated $1,000. He's the one that brought in that Spirit Bomb of votes. He donated $1,000 to the event, and he actually unlocked the Town Hall preview show. So that was one of our goals, one of our backer rewards, is we're going to do a live preview show the day before Bloodlust of Town Hall Heroes. Unfortunately, Bakery won't be there live, but we'll use a hologram, and it'll be great. That is insane. And Cattle Prod, dude, thank you so much for that monster donation towards the event, supporting us in that goal, and giving B-Step the Spirit Bomb of votes. But sorry for derailing everything. Let's I guess we're done with level 7 as I spaced out during all that. You guys wrapped up on 7? You guys good?
I mean, I think Bakery wanted to rage about Darnassian archery, but
go rage.
Oh well, it's just, how did this talent make it into the game?
Dude, just imagine that team fight where you get to auto attack a tank like 50 times. In that team fight, this talent is so good.
Oh wait, no, hang on. I thought it actually capped at 20. It just doesn't cap?
It never caps. I'm doing like 1,200 damage to the target dummy right now per auto. It's like super marginal, and you'd probably always rather have like your range carry have bonus damage when you need it because it takes like 6 autos to even out. But like, yeah, it's insane if you can just auto something like a million times. But it's just not a real. It's a funny talent, but I don't think it's a real talent.
Okay, I now understand how this talent made it in, but that sounds super fun actually. But yeah. It's funny. It's worth three-shot in almost every situation.
Well, it's pretty booty from what I can tell, but I think we're all on the same page in that sense. So level 10, actually both of her heroics did receive significant updates. In the past, if you're watching this as a new player and you've never played Tyrande before, Shadowstalk use it's changed a few times. It used to just cloak your whole team, used to show the entire enemy team while cloaking your team. And in the new version of Shadowstalk, it only affects Tyrande. It has 0 healing. It is effectively her new Sprint, because rest in peace Sprint. She was the last hero to have it. Sprint was a talent that was on tons of heroes, and every time a hero got reworked, Sprint got deleted. Sprint's officially removed from Heroes of the Storm as a talent, no longer a thing, and Shadowstalk has kind of replaced that. She's got 30% movement speed with when stealth is broken, she gets 50% attack speed. So this is kind of a reposition and then turn around and start shooting talent. It's kind of a retreat talent. In some situations, it could be an engaged talent. Before we get to Starfall, I mean, Bakery, bring us through your thoughts on Shadowstalk.
So this is kind of the auto attack talent, from what I can tell. Like, if you're going auto attack build, then you basically want a Shadowstalk in, and that enables you to get your position, I believe is the idea. And then, you can't have stealth, you use the mark. You have Illusion's Chosen active, you have Huntress's Fury, or maybe Donatian Archery, and so on. Along with the Ranger's Mark cooldown, so Ranger's Mark's always up as well once you have that stacked. I believe that's the idea. It seems kind of cheesy to me, to be honest, and I don't think it's really viable outside of that specific, I'm going to be an auto-attack damage carry this game. But, yeah, I don't know. I just don't really like it, to be honest. I don't think it's bad. I just don't like it.
I mean, it's not a healer ability.
Right.
You're not solo healing your team and taking this talent. You're taking this because you want to be the solo carry.
I mean, yes and no, because I'm gonna disagree with you. I almost never interject and disagree with you guys, but since her Q is based on autos and she's getting auto tech speed, she effectively heals more when you do that. So I don't build her auto, and I get that as a oh shit, I'm in trouble because I got a position talent, because it's a potential escape. And it's also, I need more healing right now, get me more autos, and then I can spam out more heals. So it kind of is the support talent in a way.
I think you...
No. All right, I stood my ground. I'll accept it if you guys think I'm wrong.
It does increase your healing output, right? Starfall doesn't increase your healing output, Shadowstalk does. But I mean, I think what Baker's trying to say is the playstyle you have to get value out of Shadowstalk is you are trying to be the range carry, or the solo ganker, your roam squad style playing. It's so much worse for team fights than Starfall. And especially if you're solo healing, I feel like you need the zoning tools. If you are playing Tyrande and you're the healer and they just let you auto attack for 5 seconds, at that point, you're probably winning the team fight, even regardless, just because you're going to be putting out heals and you're not under pressure. I feel like the Shadowstalk as solo healer is really questionable.
So the thing I was about to say is that I think there's more effective healing from the zone control and slow of Starfall than you would ever get from more attack speed from Shadowstalk.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Not really
Fair enough.
effective healing, but more damage prevention.
I'm just trying to make myself feel better about taking Shadowstalk almost every game.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, Jake. I'm not going to hold it against you.
Reduce radius and Starfall. How much does it hurt? Because in theory, Could it would do more damage to? No, that's not how it works. It's just less radius. 'Cause is it the damage? Is it random falls? I don't actually know. It's not.
No,
like,
it's not random.
No, okay.
Every target inside it gets hit once per second.
Okay.
Just everything. Yeah.
I was thinking random.
The
logic
range
for a reason.
Yeah. The range. I mean, the radius decrease is meaningful, but I didn't think it's like super impactful.
It feels a lot. It feels like a lot more than one range nerf. To be honest, I felt like before it was really big, and now it feels like kind of small.
I don't know. It's still like enormous radius. I feel like
It still
I mean,
covers
I
like
don't know.
any passageway, but it doesn't cover like an entire shrine on Sky Temples or something. Like,
Well, yeah. So before you could put it, let's say mid shrine on Infernal Shrines, you could put it like just to the right of the altar thing, and it would cover like the entire shrine, and they couldn't get in through like bot or on the right. But like now, it's like it's super small. It didn't even close to do that. I don't know what happened, honestly. I mean, I guess it's like because it's radius.
it's radius. Yeah, so
It's like
changes
one
are
from
really
each side.
impactful. Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
Anyway, I still think it's really good.
yeah,
And by
it's-
far the best Iraq.
And at 20, the Celestial Wrath, I mean, we'll get there, but that's bonkers good. Like, level 13, we've got a couple things. We got Quickening Blessing, so Light of Elune, you get the additional movement speed there, up by 25%. Always been useful. If you're going Owl build, you absolutely must go for Empower to get the cooldown reduction. Otherwise, you're playing the hero wrong. And then Harsh Moonlight, you get a fat slow. So it's a form of utility built into her Owl. You're getting yourself, it's 30% reduced damage and slow, or 30% reduced damage and slow for 4 seconds on a hero. So yes, it is support, but again, that is an 18-second cooldown for that. And if you miss that little slender Owl, well, feeling real bad. How do you guys feel about this tier?
See, that's what I was about to say. Is that like I saw that talent, I was like, wow, that's a really nice talent, and then I realized it's going to be an 18-second cooldown. You're not going to have any radius increases, and so if you want to land that on a target that you would get value from landing it on, the chances are just really low. Like you're gonna have to try and hit a Valor with that. Well, that's not gonna happen. Like. Okay, Odin you can do for sure. You probably can't hit a Greymane. Probably can't hit a Cassia. Like, I just don't know how you're supposed to land that, basically.
So
I think it's really good against melee assassins, especially.
like a point blank on like Inhibited.
Yeah, it's like a shrink ray with slightly shorter cooldown, basically, on melee assassins. I feel like it's super valuable. But you're right, it's like you're not going to hit the range carry with it a lot of the time, unless they're already getting CC chained or whatever. But I like that talent. I think it's good.
Yeah, no, I agree that you can hit a melee assassin for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just to talk about the W in general, right? We talked about the cooldown already earlier in the show, and the fact that in the past you could get that cooldown reduction early, like level 1, level 4, you're going for the pierce, you're going for the cooldown reduction. Now you don't get that till level 13 when you still again have to take that talent for the cooldown reduction. If you're getting that cooldown reduction, you cannot get this talent, and it's a longer cooldown than a hook. Do you think that's still fine because it's the it's the only basic ability that has infinite range, or why do you think it's an 18-second cooldown?
I mean, the base ability is an 18-second cooldown because of the vision.
Oh, vision.
Like, the lower the cooldown gets, it gets really oppressive to play against.
Yeah.
Like, even at 18 seconds, it's hard to play around Tyranda's vision. She's going to know what camps you're doing. Like, it's so much easier to follow map rotations.
I think the cooldown makes sense for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing to remember about Empower is that Empower used to lower every cooldown in Tyranda's kit.
It's true.
And now it doesn't.
Just the owl.
Now it's just the owl.
And it's level 13.
Yeah, and you have no radius. I think Empower is, like, not very good now. So unless you're going for the dank meme owl build on 1 and 13, like, I don't think you should be taking Empower.
That's the funnest way to play
I agree.
Tyrande, so you guys better go for 1 of 13 Hedwigs. Those late game, like, 1/5 of Genji's HP snipes, that feels good.
Yeah, but I don't think you even have to take Empower if you took the Sentinel talent at 1. I mean, I don't think you need to, because it's like pretty marginal since it only reduces Sentinel cooldown, and you're not hitting cross-map ones, like you said, because of radius.
Right.
So you can just go Harsh Moonlight or Quickening Blessing and get value on that tier without needing to stack all your chickens in one basket, so to speak.
Chickens.
Uh-huh.
We don't want to put eggs in that
I mean,
basket.
owls,
They're
I guess,
full-grown
but,
chickens.
like,
Headwigs, Dunk. Headwigs.
Headwigs?
Yeah, when you put it that way, you think about the late game owl. It's so much less fun now. There's no more rewind. You got to work super hard to farm it up, and you don't got the girth of the bird anymore. They're just. I miss my fat owls that were well fed. So comparing the other talents, then Harsh Moonlight, good against melee assassins, Quickening Blessing, a talent that I never used to take, and I don't know if I will. But now that there's such a drastic change to the basic queue, and you can spam queues out with the built-in what's it called, battle momentum on the queue, is this suddenly way more viable? And it affects her too, doesn't it? Because it used to not. It does. Increases the target, because you used to not be able to give yourself the movement speed.
I don't know, to be honest. Like, I can't tell if this talent's good or it's just like the games are kind of a bit weird. So that's why it's getting... Yeah.
No, I think the 25% move speed has some value. Like, on certain heroes, it is really impactful to just have any bonus move speed you can. Like, if you have an Arthas on your team or like a Dahaka, 25% move speed is a big difference in them being impactful. So I think it's kind of a matchup and like composition thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah. I mean, like, let's take like a Zorjin backline or something. Like, he's got no mobility. Like, you get value there for sure. But yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I even think it might be better at peeling than Harsh Moonlight, because so like my experience of an Illidan diving, like, it was actually really hard for him to kill anyone when I took Quickening Blessing. I didn't think about Harsh Moonlight actually. And it felt like it had super value. So I don't know if that talent's really good or it was just a bit weird, but
yeah,
it's hard to say, but Harsh Moonlight, definitely interesting. You know, it's a nice different bit of tool she has to save someone. Like you said, it's a pseudo shrink ray built into her kit, help someone out, or just give them the movement speed to get them out of there if you're worried about missing your owls. Silver 13 still feels impactful pretty much no matter how you look at it. Down the list to 16, we've got Overflow and Light. You got the fatter heals there for Tyrande. From Tyrande, as long as she is healthy. Is this changed from before? Because I thought...
Yeah, it is.
Okay, what is the difference?
I don't remember exactly. I feel like before it was 50%, like Tyrande above 50, and increased by 30%.
Yeah, I think it's just a number tweak. It's the same.
Yeah, I guess
ability,
it's
really. Yeah.
Okay. Dunk just yelled at me in Skype. He's like, Jake, I know you love Tyrande, but we're spending more time talking about this one hero than we ever do. We're an hour into the show. That just shows how much I love Tyrande, because I thought we were like 20 minets in. Guys, we just talked about Tyrande for an hour. Hell yeah. All right.
We're not done, Jake. We still have 2 more tiers.
Okay, so on that tier, the only talent that I want to hear your thoughts on really big, like the other ones I understand, but like, did you get value out of Elun's Chosen when you used it? Because I found it really hard to get value out of.
It was super unintuitive to me because I kept like trying to click it like on an enemy or something.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm glad I'm not alone there, because I'm like, I'm like, this ability's broken. I'm like, stream, guys, this literally doesn't work. Like, I can't use it.
Yeah.
And it's like marking, like Hunter's marking an ally.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I finally got used to using it though, it was like, wow, this healing's insane. Because like when I took Shadowstalk, but then the game I didn't take Shadowstalk, I was just like,
yeah. it feels like a Shadowstock talent, but then I think if I'm playing Shadowstock, I'm not solo support, and I'm playing more of a damage role, and I would rather just have Mark of Mending for the consistent self-healing over Loon's Chosen, right?
Right.
But maybe that's just wrong. I don't know. I mean, because I look at Loon's Chosen and I think it's powerful, but it felt hard to get value because I wasn't taking Shadowstock, maybe. But I think it is interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree. Mark of Mending was super fun, actually, for Facer. But I think Overflowing Light was my go-to on this tier. It felt like a really big healing increase. And I was getting a lot of value from auto-attacking minion waves, auto-attacking enemies and stuff. And
wait, so I need you guys to make this make sense to me, because my brain can't wrap around, can't read this text properly right now. Standard Jake stuff, right? Mark of Mending is healing for her, passive, period. But then it says basic attacks against targets with Hunter's Mark heal the attacker. So this means if I've marked an enemy ETC, my allies get life leech, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I understood it properly. I was thinking like if I marked ETC and ETC hit me, ETC got healing. I was like,
no,
that makes
you
no
also
sense.
you also get the 3% as well. So
Dope.
while you have your mark on someone, it goes from 2 to 5%.
So good. So if that is also, is that only heroes? Heal the attack. No. So if we were to go to take a boss and we're all low on health, then taking the boss, like we're gonna get like fed up really quick. Late game. That's dope. Yes. Okay, that's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of healing.
Cool. I like it. Is that the go-to?
I think so. I mean, I can like first glance, Overflowing Light looks insane, but like I played once with each, and like it seemed like the Mark of Mending was actually value.
I only played one game, and it was my last one, so I'd need to test Mark of Mending for sure. But I could definitely see that being the go-to.
Cool. I like it. It seems like a nice late game talent that really buffs up her trait, which is kind of one of the defining factors of what Tyrande is, right? Being able to mark a target like that. Level 20. We've got Eyes of the Huntress. You reveal enemy heroes. You've got Celestial Wrath, literally Hunter's Mark on everyone within Starfall. Then you got Shooting Star, which when I've read it, I'm like, yo, this is dope. Every 10 attacks, you shoot a Lunar Flare, but you also get additional basic attack range that makes you a little bit more of a hunter. Those random Lunar Flares are hilarious, by the way. And then Ice Blade Arrows, you actually just get attack speed increase, and basic attacks reduce the damage dealt by enemy heroes. So this turns her a little bit more control. You know, whoever she's attacking, she's weakening that hero. Seems like she's got some cool, really creative level 20 talents. I love the direction personally. How do you guys feel about this tier?
I agree. Direction-wise, it's great. I think Celestial Wrath is like the clear best level 20 talent.
Yeah.
Probably in the game, other than Bolt of the Storm. Not certain on that, but it's
insane.
Pretty much, it's bananas.
Yeah.
And then honorable mention to Ice Blade Arrows, which is going to be way better than most people think it will be.
Yes.
That talent she's like the best 1v1 in the game at that point, especially if you're Shadowstock. I don't think you should ever take Eyes of the Huntress or Shooting Star, even though Shooting Star is like super cool.
It's funny.
It's just not actually effective.
Right.
In my opinion.
Every 10th attack? Like, how many attacks against heroes are we getting? Like,
yeah.
these teamfights?
I mean, the one range is like solid of an effect, but that's like a level 7 talent level, maybe 13, because it's Tyrande. You don't want her to have that easily, but like, I don't think it's like a real effect.
So the other thing about Shooting Star is like if it was like the target you're attacking, so that you can kind of know and like plan for that CC, then I think maybe Shooting Star would be good. But like it's just gonna shoot a random Shooting Star like God knows where, and then just go bow 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 bow. Dank memes, boys. If you guys don't know that meme, I'm sorry, but I had to do it.
Oh, great song.
Fakery wanted to talk about something before I started singing.
Yeah, so the range was good. On Shooting Star, like the range is just a nice increase, and I don't think is a bad talent just because of that. But comparing it to Celestial Wrath, it's like, yeah, that's not a competitive talent. Like,
or even Ice Blade Arrows, though. I mean, Ice Blade Arrows gives you 25% more attack speed. Attack speed equals more heals. Like, It's pretty nice.
But it not Celestial Wrath, Jake. Come on.
It's not Celestial Wrath.
Yeah. I mean, you should be taking Celestial Wrath if you're Starfall, but if you are the guy who is playing Shadowstock, which, I mean, it might end up being better or whatever. I'm pretty sure Starfall's better. If you have Starfall, take Celestial Wrath. But if you don't, I think Ice Blade Arrows is really good.
I would have to agree. Well, that's Tyrande. We don't have to keep grinding in on her. Eyes of the Huntress, too. In some cases, if you're terrified of vision, that could win games in a very niche situation just as a responsive pickup. That could be you hit 20, you know if you can make this call, you can win the game. So we might see it used, but it's going to be in a very specific moment, and it could be really cool. That I would not advise, even as my poo level play is, not advise I have the Eyes of the Huntress in your quick match games on average, because your team's not going to capitalize on it. So don't bother giving your team vision. They're not going to. You can get that vision with an owl. Just shoot a Hedwig across the map and let it hoot and give you the doot. We are going to move to the new hero next. Her name is Diva. She is a StarCraft 2 pro gamer that decided she wanted to pilot a mecha unit to fight with Overwatch in future Earth. She has sweet Red Bull and Mountain Dew addictions and Doritos addictions, and she is adorbs. If you don't know who Diva is, you clearly hate video games, but that's okay. Let's take a look at her here. She's looking mighty fine. Oh my goodness. Look at that mecha. Look at that Blizzard sponsorship she has on her mecha.
Okay, so the first thing that stands out to me
Is that she has
about
an Asuka
Diva,
skin?
no, is that she's the first hero in the game who has less than default base move speed.
I
Wait,
actually
really?
didn't know that.
Yeah. Olaf and Balog have default move speed. Eric has higher, but she's the only hero in the game who has less than default. Leorix, well, he's got his W up, he's slower for, like, there are things where sometimes your hero is slower, but she's like the only one where you're default slower, and that's in mech form, which I think is really interesting because they've like made it such a big deal to keep move speed standard in all the game outside of buffs and debuffs, so it's really interesting.
What do you guys think about this Goliath skin?
I liked the concept a lot, but it didn't really feel like a Goliath in game, to be honest.
I mean, they gotta make it look like Diva's mech too, but I agree with that. Still, I think it's Haipu.
The other thing that stood out to me is that the master skin changed like nothing from the base
it's
one.
miserable. Like, she gets like a white chest plate and like white boots.
And then the mecha gets like three
subwoofers.
speakers.
She's like, just Asuka or bust. If you guys don't know NGE, you should. All right, let's load her up. We're not going to go through all of her talents the way we did with Tyrande. Just going to talk about her as a hero. She has two forms. She's got her mech, and she's got her human form, the pilot form, Pilot Diva and regular. Pilot Diva is attained via building up meter for self-destruct, which is her E. So it's not her ult. Self-destruct is her ult in Overwatch, not in Heroes of the Storm. By the way, she has the best portrait in the corner in the game. Just want to let that be known. She's looking really good. One of the common things that people have been complaining about is the fact that she is yet another hero that can auto attack while moving, and she has lots of spread. Dunk, you are shaking your head, even though stream can't say it. Nodding your head, excuse me, even though stream can't see it. You hate this, huh? You hate it. It's the worst. This is not.
I really don't like the attack while moving mechanic. I find it frustrating. And I think it reduces a lot of the mechanical complexities of the MOBA genre. It's cute on Tracer, but like, I don't like it
enough
overall.
Is enough, right? Yeah.
There was a Blizzard post about this on Reddit. They were talking about why they chose to use it here and why it's on Lucio. I mean, I understand.
I mean, Lucio, it makes sense.
I just hope they don't do any more. That's my. I mean, I'm fine with this. I just hope they never do it again for the rest of the game.
Ever. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. I mean, I disagree with that for sure. So the Blizzard post, it replied to a Reddit thread by the lead hero designer, Eric Hagman, and what he basically said was that like it has to be on Tracer because that is Tracer's character. Like we can never have Tracer without it. It had to be on Lucio because when you rule ride, it's not like he shouldn't be able to shoot while rule riding. And just generally, like, when Lucio moves, you shouldn't have to stop, because the whole point about Lucio is moving around, using the walls, and so on. And he said on Diva, we kind of didn't want to do it, basically. Like, we know that this mechanic's not great, and some people don't like it, but we couldn't foresee a way to have Diva's mech without it, like with the boosters and so on, when she has to stop to auto attack. And I actually definitely agree with all that reasoning. Just having the decreased move speed, I think, is enough of a trade-off where I would say this is fine, because the reason why it's always annoyed me on Tracer is that she just catches up to people. You can't escape her, and she's always attacking. Diva, like, she boosters into you to engage because she's slow already. Then she starts attacking you, and you can use a single movement ability, and you're no longer in her attack range. Because you think that the splash behind the target looks small. That's less than her max attack range. Her max attack range is like 80% of that box.
Wow.
As you can see on the stream here.
Yeah.
So it's a super small range. She's slowed already. I personally don't have any issue with it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't either. I get the sentiment that a lot of people have, is just like sick of these auto tech heroes. With her, it doesn't come off to me as like an issue, right? It just kind of fits the mech. I think not having it would feel super clunky. Like, Zarya can't move. If Zarya could move with her beam and not have to stutter step, that would be repulsive. Like, she's quick, she's in your face. But the fact, like Dunk said, or like you just mentioned, the slower mech makes it so that's a non-issue. It doesn't feel bad unless there's some other kind of synergy that goes with it. Speaking about her abilities, Q, it's her only form of mobility, right? It's on a 10-second cooldown. That is how you get into the fight. It's how you engage. You can push people around. It's kind of like a mini Chen barrel, but it's also her form of getting from one lane to the next. So if you need to quickly move to the, oh, I can push this thing around. I didn't know that. Yeah, get out of here. Ooh, get over. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, thoughts on the Q and the talents at level 1. There's like the additional speed that does more damage during the initial boost. The cooldown reduced when you're out of combat to make it so you can rotate more frequently. Is it normally 15 seconds? Or is it 5?
No, it's normally 10.
So that's really good. When you're out of combat, you have your rotate. On some maps, you might want that. Crash Course, that's the additional damage and the additional startup, right? No, every time.
Prayer moves is super interesting because you can actually stack that off of a minion wave, and then cool. It seems to be just permanent 30% move speed.
Wow.
Which is super cool.
Huh. Maybe that makes her auto attack busted. But it seems like a fitting talent or ability.
I've just realized what I said might have been a bit misleading. It's permanent, like in the team fight. You can be like in the front line and maintain that. It falls off after maybe 3 seconds, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So something interesting about the mechanic of the booster that might not be intuitive for new people, or if you're just reading the talent. Her default speed is 85%. But that's applied through a slow on herself that's essentially removed while boosters is active. So even though it says 125% increased speed, you're actually moving even faster than that because you go up to the default 100% and then get the extra 125.
Oh, that's actually really interesting.
Small probably doesn't really ever matter, but it's kind of neat.
So she goes from 85, which is your default, to 225. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's nuts.
Mm-hmm. That probably helps a lot with making it feel like a really fast boost, Yeah, especially if you go that other talent at level 1. If I just reset talents.
That's a super fun talent.
Is it Crash Course?
Hit the nitrous.
Yeah. No, nitrous. Nitrous is really fun.
You move so quickly for that first half second.
Oh, it's like 400 something?
It's like a dash, yeah.
475? I picked this talent. The first game I got Diva, I played against Cattle in June. And I actually got this. It was on Haunted Mines. It was full on Cheese City. And I got the sickest knock in onto Cattle, catching him off guard. And we managed to body block him into the body part of the map. And that was my one graceful moment. In the rest of the map, I just got bodied by them. But like, I was like, I got the first kill, yes. And the surprise factor of that ability wore off, I guess. But let's see. W, I actually, how does it's a 10-second cooldown, and how does it work? Is it like the whatever's in the field is taking less damage, or is it
okay? So enemy heroes in the field
are doing
do 25% or 75% less damage is how it works. And I actually wanted to talk about this with Dunk, basically, because to me, as soon as I saw the spotlight, I was like, oh wow, it doesn't look like she's using that to block projectiles. And then the PTR went up like a few minutes after. I read the ability description. I was so I couldn't help but be disappointed, basically, because I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, to me, I would have loved for it to block projectiles. That would have been a super like fun interaction, I think. Like a fun way for the diva to like have a really high impact, have the defense base fix on a 20-second cooldown maybe. But like this implementation, in my opinion, is even worse than just having it like allies in this cone take 75% reduced damage.
Really?
Like it just feels so far away from like thematically how I feel the hero should work.
Huh.
I don't know. I was really disappointed to read that.
Do any of the talents make it better for you, in your opinion?
No, the talents don't really change. Like
they don't change the mechanics of it all.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think it would be healthy for the game to have something that blocks projectiles? No?
Well, it's basically a blind, right?
No. Oh, I mean, yeah, if you wanted to only block auto attacks. Is that what you were expecting?
So I would be happy if it only blocked auto attacks. My ideal would be blocking like line skill shots as well, basically. So Muradin Stormbolt, you can block that. That'd be a huge moment.
Oh, if you like put it out in front of the Stormbolt, is what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. But stuff like Arthur's Root, to me, that's not a projectile, so I don't need to block that, and so on.
They'd probably have to do a lot of work to make that kind of interaction exist, just, engine-wise even.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like, I think it's worth discussing what's the best implementation. I think auto attacks being blocked might be my favorite way to do this, because you can still get those big moments of like, oh, he blocked like those two last autos, right? Like, you can still get the big moments without having what I consider like absurdity of blocking like really impactful line skill shots, if that makes sense. Like, just from a design perspective, I don't like that in the game.
No, I can definitely understand that argument for sure.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because I mean, there's some like really influential ultimates, right? They're line skill shots.
Yeah.
And it would suck for a basic ability to block this. I can definitely sympathize.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting talent for sure. Last but not least, her E is self-destruct, which, of course, per Overwatch classics, you can throw it at your opponents and let it explode, and then you are Mech Diva. So that's going to boom over there. It takes a very, very long time for that to explode, however.
Yeah, it's a full 4 seconds. If you take the worst talent in the game, then it goes up to 7 seconds.
Yeah.
That's insane. I remember reading that and just being like, I want the opposite, Blizzard. Why?
I'm pretty sure nuclear option, like, is that talent actually a thing though? If you use it to like defend bosses and you use it to like siege forts and stuff, like, because if you just throw that on a keep, like, they are zoned for probably like 4 seconds if you assume that they have to move out like 2.5 seconds early and then they have to move back in. So like, it's a lot of zoning potential, I think. It may be, like, I don't think it's good necessarily, but I don't think it's super garbage like a lot of people think on first reading.
I mean, I don't know. I can get you get like 2 seconds more zone, but or you get 3 seconds more zone.
Yeah,
but I think effectively you don't, because the team's going to walk back 2 seconds before and then walk back in and get to where they were 2 seconds after. It doesn't matter that they're doing that 2 seconds later than they would normally, if you know what I mean.
I don't think you actually have to move out of the basic self-destruct, though, outside of, like, the 50%-ish radius, maybe 75% radius. Like, the damage drop-off is pretty steep, and I don't think outside, like, is threatening enough, maybe, without that talent. Just
I think
a little bit for the talent.
I think it's still a lot of damage, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a good amount, but, like, the center is
it's like a Ring of Frost. Like, you'd want to dodge the Ring of Frost, even if you could get a cleanse, like, surely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think actually it was a really good decision to put this on her E as opposed to her ultimate, because otherwise you would need to invent like abilities for the hero,
Right.
because she like, yeah, she didn't really have anything like in mech.
Well, they did invent the ults.
The ults,
Is basically
they
what they
had to,
committed to inventing.
Which is fine.
But I think inventing ults is fine because that changes her team fight. Inventing basic abilities would change her gameplay.
Yeah.
Like her core gameplay.
So let's talk about the ults. What do you guys think about Bunny Hop?
Okay, it's super cool and it looks amazing. I think it's like a neat thing. I'm not sold that it's good.
I think I'm in the same position as you.
It might still be the right choice though, because I'm not sold that Big Shot is good either. Like both the alts definitely feel to me like afterthoughts, I guess, compared to the kit, right? Like all of the feeling of the kit is in the base of the kit, and the alts are just like extra little things that are cute. You know, that's my impression.
Big Shot's insane, by the way. Like, it's a really short talent. What's the normal cooldown for it? 4 seconds, which is nothing. And in like I intentionally went this on like Braxis one game because I'm like, all right, we have no clear. I'm going to use my mech to help with clear, and then I'm going to use Big Shot to help with clear. And they were pushing in behind the Zerg wave, and there was like 2 or 3 people that just kept staying clumped up. And I got like 2 shots out, and my mech was ready. I was like, oh, okay. So the rest of the game, I just recklessly used my mech, throwing it away, letting it die, pop it out, shooting lasers. And like, you know, within 10 seconds or like 15 seconds, I'd have my mech. And it's like, whoa, this is actually absurd. And then it brings harmony into the other talent that makes your mech have more health, but the cooldown be longer. You can make it so your mech is super tanky, but it takes a longer time to rebuild a new one. And then, well, it's like, okay, well, there's an additional duration on that, but I can, just use this little other heroic that gives me a lot of nice poke to get my mech back more quickly. Because how much time does it? 8 seconds for every hero you hit. That's a huge benefit.
Yeah, I think for sure Big Shot's super cool because it basically enables like a second playstyle, I think, of I want to play with my pilot this game. And there's other talents as well later in the tiers. There's a level 20 concussive pulse or something, as well as a level 16, which is like a dash, where you can... and I think... Wait, isn't there another one as well?
There's 16 and 20 for abilities. 16 is a knockback. Or, I mean, 20 is a knockback, and then 16 is the dash.
Okay, so I'm talking about GG well played. Increase pilot mode basic attack damage by 75%.
But that's
I
on the
felt
same
like that
as
one was...
the dash, though.
Yeah, it's the same as the dash, but to me, it's like still, when I come out, you know, I do a lot. So
her damage is insane in pilot mode, though.
Dude, she's better than Raynor.
Insane.
Yeah.
Well, especially with GG well played.
But her auto attack speed is so fast, like, you can't really stutter step. You have to stand still to put out your DPS.
Okay, I think that's a separate topic, actually. So
no, I think it's really cool. Yeah.
When in pilot mode, they specifically made the wind-up animation, like, half a second.
Attack speed,
It's huge. The wind-up on her attacks is huge, but as soon as she fires the first one, she fires a ton. It's kind of like Genji in that respect.
Well, I mean, it's not Genji's mechanic, though, where they're tied together. It's like the attack animation speed is the exact same as the attack cooldown. So, like, it's kind of like Tychus more than Genji, is all I'm trying to say.
Oh, wait, Jake, go show off the auto attack, and don't share Skype.
Great gasm. The classic.
Go attack the target dummy, and then try and stutter step.
Stutter step. Stutter step. Why is his name Chaos?
Like the DPS loss is huge, because the wind up is so long.
Watching Jake try to stutter step on Pilot Diva. Lil.
Hey, man.
Yeah. Okay, so do you think like Pilot Diva style play is going to be an actual thing, Bakery? I think it might. Like the damage is so high, and you're a carry that essentially has a free health bar. Like if you assume that you start fights in pilot form, like playing range carry, if they ever dive you, you just go mech form and dash out. Like I think it's going to be an actual thing.
Yo, what I want.
Honestly, I think that's her niche. So
Yeah.
So here's the scenario: you start a fight in a mech, and you're full HP. Pretty standard. Let's say they dive you or whatever. Then you get to press E. You survive for 4 seconds. You get back in a mech, right? Mm-hmm. Then you go in again, and then they kill you again, and then you pop out. So you have like 3 or 4 life bars, per team fight, if you have the setup basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
So I think for sure you can actually play it kind of either way. I think you can play, I'm a damage dealer, here's my mech as an extra health bar, and you have to kill me because I'm going to be in your face, and then I'm going to be pilot after that. Mm-hmm. But I also think you can probably play it as like this bruiser style, doing the same thing, where you take abrasive plating or whatever it is at 13, and then you go in, you almost die, but you press E, and then you get another mech, and you can tank the second time with your ultimate as well.
I didn't play any Diva, I just played Tyrande when I was playing on PTR. I feel like it's going to take some testing, but a blade of armor looks insane. Like, I'm not sure how many heroes like basic auto attacks get over the 5% threshold, but if that just makes every auto attack basically half damage, that's like unbelievable mitigation.
That's insane, yeah.
It felt really... Oh, okay, it was kind of hit or miss. There were some games where I was playing against Alarak Nova, and I was like, this wasn't the correct talent this game. But there were other games. There was a game of Haunted Mines where I was just like... I was literally running at them saying, guys, kill me. And they just couldn't. It was insane. But yeah, I think actually, when I was reading a talent tree, I read the first 3 tiers, like 1 through 7. I was like, I don't know. I feel like most of these are pretty boring. Like, okay, I appreciate prayer moves. I appreciate diverting power thing. But
yeah, it's cool design. I think diverting power is like an instance of cool theoretical design, but in actual gameplay probably doesn't ever do anything good, you know?
Yeah. Like it was cool design, but it's kind of boring. And then I hit 13, 16, and 20. I was like, actually, the first half of the talent tree to me was super boring, and then the second half, I was like, wow, they kind of pushed the boat out with some of these talents. Yeah,
which is fine for these kind of heroes too, especially a hero that's as flexible as Diva. They don't want to give her too many good options, right? You give her some nice late game options to make her interesting, because like you guys were saying, GG Well Played is really good, but Torpedo Dash is insane. It's better than any basic vault or anything. She goes so far.
It's super far.
It's insane. I'm just like, yo, where do I get those rocket boots? Because I want a pair. She goes mega far, and but you're giving up things like GG Well Played, and that's another. Actually, the entire tier is pretty darn good.
The whole tier is pilot. So
yeah. But
is that a good design decision? I think it's interesting. I mean, we've talked about whole tiers that are all one talent before, and Tyrande has some of that kind of, on 4, and then 13 is 2 with 1. But it's interesting to have one tier that's all pilot. I
thought one of them made her mech.
You can get the mech back faster, but it's not.
Well, I mean that's effectively a mech talent, though. You're trying to get back.
Yeah.
So
I think it's fine because it's 4 talents that do different things. Going back way back to the start of the show, talking about talents that have roles. So, okay, I'm gonna be a backline. I need to escape. That's dash, right? So playing a backline with an escape is different from playing a stationary backline, like
Right.
she is otherwise. There's one which is 20% increased range and slow enemies. So that's kind of like the zone control backline. There's another, which is the tank one, which is basic attacks. It's like gain 50 armor for 4 seconds. And that 4 seconds is the gap between popping out of mechs.
Yeah.
So go in, use E, have 50 armor for 4 seconds so they can't kill you, then get back in the mech. And then obviously there's GG well played, which just seems really overtuned, like compared to the
That's
others.
insanely
But,
good, yeah.
but again,
Maybe.
that's kind of like a different role.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we talk about 20? I think 20 is the only thing we have left. Mecha fall, call mech instant and targetable, damaging by enemies. So it's basically just get your mech cooldown back, summon a mech, and it could be damage if they're right in front of you. You got the concussive.
No, it's like a
pulse.
gap closer.
Oh, it's a gap closer.
It
I've never used
teleports
it.
you to where you drop the mech.
Okay.
I think it's insane.
Oh, I saw people doing that, and I was really confused. I'm like, how are they doing that?
I think Mecha Full is super cool, yeah.
All
Yeah,
right, I
it's
got to
really
try
cool.
it here. So let's just set the level to 30 because YOLO.
Concussive Pulse as well, that's another
That's
cool
really
one.
cool. Pilot form.
On the
build.
basic ability. And I think Stop and Pop, again, that was like super interesting when I read it. 150% more damage if you're stationary.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that on a mosh pit. That does so much damage.
zeros anyone over the
Exactly. It's insane.
Yeah.
And if you stop behind them, if you can like booster behind them, basically,
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, and it does damage?
Yeah. Her level 20s are really cool.
Yo, that's insane, dude. So, can I go over the wall? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Let me out. Does my mech take shots from the... Imagine if the dying mech was targeted by catapults or by the turrets. That would be busted. Doesn't do that, though. Let's try the other ones really quick. So there's Big Shot and then Pew Pew Pew. Huh. And you basically get your mech back instantly if you hit those. 8 seconds with each shot. That's insane. It's actually good damage.
Like, if you want to play Bruiser, I feel like you go the armor suit and then Big Shot multiple triggers, so you can like get armor suit and then immediately refresh your cooldown in one rotation.
Right.
If Bunny Hop's not actually good, because again, until I actually play real games with it, I am not certain.
Huh. You can't toggle cooldowns in Concussive Pulse. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool though. I love
it's
the
like a
level
hammer
20.
W there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Stop and Pop is like the basic. You know, if you're not very comfortable with the hero, then you can just press Bunny Hop and stand still, or maybe like try and like slightly stutter step or whatever.
Mhm.
But if you're like really comfortable with the hero and you properly set up for it, where you come from behind and they have to run through you, and you are right clicking and hold position at exactly the right moment, getting the nuke and immediately starting to move again, like you can literally 100% of the time nail that on someone if you do it correctly. From what I could tell anyway.
It's nuts, man. It's super, super impactful. Diva, we'll definitely keep our eyes on her. She's brand new. We'll get a better feel once she's live. We've played a lot more games. I played like 2 games total. Played against her plenty. And we'll definitely bring on a warrior player to give us their thoughts. Maybe we'll bring on an assassin player because it honestly feels like she's more of an assassin than a warrior, anyways. A little weird. They've like shied away from the multi-class naming, right? She seems as multi-class as Varian, and they do not label her as multi-class, so that's a bit surprising to me.
Actually, it isn't. I actually got to ask them about Karazim. Why isn't Karazim a multi-class? Because at level 1 you can choose healer or you can choose damage, obviously. And they said that to them multi-class meant specifically like at level 10 you pick a class.
Wow. Well, hopefully they just rework their whole classification process to fit the Mega Bundles classification, and then everyone will be happier. Shots. Boom. Okay. Pew, pew, pew. Level 20 Diva Talent. Sweet. Now, we are going to be moving to talk about Alarak quickly. I don't know if any of us played him, but I know we all played against him, and he's a god. Before we get there, we are going to take a look at these sweet shirts that you could buy. Oh, look at that merchandise.
Oh,
you could go to smash.gg/bloodlust to purchase one of these shirts and help fund our event. Now, our event is currently in the voting stage. Boom. They were bringing that to full screen. And you could see all these reward levels you can fund with your purchases or direct donations. The Hot Pepper Challenge, already $912. That's all going into the prize pool, mind you. But it also, you can make Dunk Train, Zoya, maybe someone else, eat a hot pepper and cast a game again, just like last year. Dunk looks unfazed. He's like, man, bring it on. Zoya, however, would be sweating. He probably is sweating anyways because he's Zoya. Town Hall preview show has been unlocked. Thank you to Cattle Prod. What a god. But looking at the voting very quickly, you can see that B-Step has this monster lead with Cattle Prod dumping $1,000 worth of votes onto them to give them a nice strong lead versus Team 8. This finalizes in 23 minutes and 33 seconds. That is your time to make your votes happen. If you want to give Team 8 the free vote in, or if you want to make sure B-Step's even safer, you can do that as well. Just scrolling through the whole shop before we get to Alarak, wristbands, bottle openers, hats for if you're bald and on Gale Force, you might want that. We've got the Bloodlust poster, and we've sold 8 out of 10 of our signed posters. So only 2 remain for limited signed posters that really help fund the event. So thank you guys so much for all your purchases already. I can't believe how many things have already sold. It's a lot of products, and this all does help support the event. So thank you so much. Now, Alarak time, here we go. Boom. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He always looked scary, but he never felt scary, but now he does. Where do we start? Where do we start? Because I haven't played him.
Well, then I guess we start with just how it felt to play against him. And I've always felt like Alarak was just not quite impactful enough.
Right.
Like on Battlefield Eternity, there's that cute thing where you can pull them into the stuns. But like overall, skill required to play Alarak was not rewarded. Like he's been good before, but he just felt all like on his combo. And I still feel like he feels pretty much just he's a combo bot, but I feel like he's way stronger now overall.
So they brought in the twin side blades or whatever that's called baseline. That's really nice.
Double cross.
Double crossed. Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. So now for lane clear and everything too, it's better for that. It's better for everything really, but it helps with lane clear a lot because you can just walk up to the center of the wave like this and then just go boop and pretty much hit the whole thing. Maybe you missed the back 2 archers, but still really nice. I know he has a full E build, and it seemed like a lot of people were playing that style as well.
I think I just want to take some time to say that this talent tree on PTR Alarak is by far the best talent design we've ever seen. Like, some of these talents are absolutely amazing. Yeah, so I mean, like, there's so many. Vite of Vaxir is a super interesting one where you can mark an enemy hero and hitting them with your Q gives you 3% sadism. And killing them gives you 6% sadism.
Holy crap.
And it lowers it just basically removes the cooldown. It's got a 300-second cooldown base, but when you kill someone, it goes to 10 seconds.
Wow.
However, if you die, you lose all of that bonus. So just that talent's super interesting. Extended lightning at level 1, like, it's absolutely insane. If you just hit 3 heroes with a single cast of your E, then instantly 10% sadism bonus and gain all of the other rewards on this huge like stacking talent.
Okay, so that's a new thing that they added. He has, I think, 2 quests that have that. Extended Lightning and Chaos Reigns. Do you actually like that you can get all 3 just by hitting 1 thing? Like, do you like that effect? Like, so it's a quest talent, but you can just complete the quest by doing 1 thing instead of having to stack it over the course of the game. You like that effect?
I absolutely love that effect.
Okay, interesting.
And like the thing for me is that it's such a hype moment for the Alarak, but when you play against it, it's like, oh damn, like he just got all three straight away, you know. Yeah. And that's why I like it, because like just in terms of design, it's like it's scary to play against, but it's like it's super hype for him.
I mean, okay, I agree with you that I like the hype moments, but I'm concerned that these are both like early game build into late game style quest talents, and then you have the opportunity to just randomly get them done at like level 1 or 2 or 4 for negative, like for chaos reigns, but like you just get them done on the first team fight and then the game feels over. Like, yeah, it's cool that it's a hype moment, but it's also like, can you imagine going into laning phase against an Alarak who has his level 1 quest complete because your teammates are idiots? Like, that's not a fun game. Like, you don't get to play your solo lane. The game is over. Go home. Hope you had a good time in draft. Like, because your team made a mistake at level 1, and I think that's a problem.
Okay, so the way that I saw that issue was that if this was League of Legends, right, where Alarak can do a level 1 jungle invade, he can kill your jungler or whatever, and then he can come to top lane, and you're like, I'm done. There's nothing I can do. But that's not how Heroes works, right? So what, like, if that happens, where you're like, oh damn, like it was level 4, we just had a team fight on top temple on like Sky Temple, and now Alex come bot to 1v1 me, then instead of being like, there's nothing I can do, all you need to do is play passive and wait for your team to gank, because your team is free to do that. You can just 3-person lane against Alarak. He probably still can't stop the push. Like, you just have to play around it. And I think worst case scenario, you just say max XP soak range, and maybe you lose 1 or 2 minions. And okay, that wasn't a fun laning phase. That laning phase lasted 5 minutes max. Like, just deal with it. And so I don't think it's an issue in that regard. And I think by the time you hit the game deciding team fights, in terms of like match made play, and if it's
I mean, the quest is going to be done.
He's going to have them anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
But in competitive, like, you can just play and say, okay, well, instead of fighting them, we're now going to trade. And that makes the game dynamic without, I think, giving too much of a power spike. It's not like he's not going to get these till 20, you know? I think it just changes certain phases of the game, and it doesn't... These aren't crucial phases of the game that you can just straight up win off of, or ruin someone's day off of.
Okay. I mean, I can definitely see your point. I agree. Once you get to team fighting, it like that effect of the quest is pretty much null. I mean, I can see your point. I'm not sure that my concerns are not reasonable, but I do agree. Most of the time, by time you get to team fighting, like that part of the quest is just something that could have happened.
But he's a god, though. Like, that's the TLDR. New Alarak is a beast. He can make plays so hard. He's got tons of sustain. You can play safe and poke with him. That's what I've judged from my games against them, at least.
I think Alarak is he's quite a new hero, right?
Yeah. Like,
he was released in August. So what is that? That's 6 months? Like to do a full talent tree rework of we're going to rework his passive slightly, we're going to change his E slightly, we're going to change the entire talent tree. It's not an update. This is a rework of a talent tree. To do that on a 6-month-old hero is kind of weird, right?
True.
But I think it's because we saw in a Q&A once that Alarak's development was actually rushed out the door. The original designer, he had so many ideas that he just couldn't do because he couldn't figure out a way to do the sadism mechanic. So he ended up having to do the entire talent tree around the sadism passive. And I think what happened is that during the last 6 months, Blizzard have kind of woken up to the idea of, dude, we can go so all in on these talents. We can change our gameplay so much with them. We can have these insane quests now. And I think with his new, like, talent philosophy, they could achieve the original goal of Alarak. This, to me, feels like the design intention of Alarak.
Cool. Well, like always, or when we get a little bit of a better hands on it, we will definitely revisit Alarak to talk him in more depth, especially in his talents and builds and all that good stuff. But excited about the Toronto rework, the Alarak rework, the new Hero Diva, all seem really great. There's a lot of other smaller balance changes that actually hit today. Since we are so deep into the show already, is there anything that you guys think we need to crucially touch on? Lucio got a dumpster on his healing, it looks like. That's a big change. Does that kill Lucio? Like, he's dead. Lucio's dead.
I mean, I don't think you can solo heal him anymore.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, I don't know. I think he probably still can. So his passive healing was equivalent to about 80% of Brightwing's. And it's not like Brightwing's healing was that bad.
Right.
He got a 33% nerf on his heroes. So now he's healing, what is that? Like,
it's like half of Brightwing. Yeah.
50% of Brightwing. I mean, like that's a tough sell, but you've got to remember that so if there are 3 damage targets, then Amp It Up is equal to regrowth in terms of healing. You can have regrowth on 3 targets at a time. Amp It Up is equal to that healing from all 3 of those ticking over those 3 seconds and on a 15-second cooldown. It got slightly nerfed since then, but what we're looking at is we're looking at a hero with the sustain healing of Veigar, I guess? Maybe? Nah, I guess less than that. There's just the sustain healing of Uther, we can say. And then when he presses his E, he's got the sustain healing of Mouth. So that puts him basically somewhere in the middle. I think he can probably still solo heal. And I think instead of having your passive healing on, like during team fights, just for chip damage, as I call it, just like a random, like Stitches Slam or something. Now you will just have the movement speed boost on, unless your team's actually taking damage. But I still think you'll be able to solo heal. And kind of on the same topic, but slightly different, I hate this nerf. This, in my opinion, is like the complete wrong direction in how you nerf Lucio. And take him down from being insanely high win rate in Quick Match and Hero League, while making him not a situational god tier pick in competitive. I think this is the complete wrong direction. It's like 180 degrees from where I think you need to go.
Well, we're going to save that for next week because I feel like that's going to be a spicy one. And I want Zoya in on that because Zoya has like a huge hatred for Lucio, so that'll be good. That'll be good. Nova, I mean, I know a lot of Quick Match people are excited. Nova no longer loses her Snipe Master stacks if you hit a non-heroic unit like a minion or a mercenary. I hate Nova, so yay, I get to fight more Novas. Yay me. Let us transition to talk about esports. Again, 12 minutes remaining for Bloodlust voting. This is your last chance to vote for B-Step or Team 8 to try to get Team 8 that spot for Bloodlust if you would like to, and moving into the HGC stuff. Now, I just loaded up the HGC website, and very quickly, I'm just going to say, Blizzard, step your game up. Look at this pretty graphic around Dignitas. They are the champions. Who the hell won Eastern Clash? We'll never know. We'll never know.
Well, what a disappointment, actually.
This is, it's just like, come on, guys, step it up, step it up. But real talk, I mean, this looks beautiful. And then we are now transitioning into the mid-season brawl, which also doesn't tell us our first teams, but we do know them. So, Bakery, you had your first reverse sweep against you. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it feels pretty bad, right? Like, the first 2 games were really convincing in our favor. The third game, we just kind of fell asleep. I don't know how that happened. It wasn't good. The fourth game, I'd say it was kind of pretty much a loss in draft. Like, first off, Praxis is not a good map for us, as everyone knows.
Right.
And then we didn't really have the draft to deal with theirs. So it all comes down to a fifth game. And we start winning. We start winning, right? And this is like the super sad part, is that we just decide to go for their boss. And it was just a terrible call, actually, looking back. Because then they come to the boss, and then we lose like 3 people, and then we lose the boss, and then we lose the curse tribute. And then from that point on, we just can't get a fight because of the comp that they have. And then they just win the game without a single team fight. Other than the one at boss, but I don't count that one.
Well, regardless, big congrats to Fnatic. Spoilers. Epic series. I mean, obviously disappointing for Bakery and everyone at Dignitas, but Fnatic fought valiantly, and they will be the first team representing Europe at the mid-season brawl. The last spot is pretty much it's Dig versus Liquid, right? It's
or Expert, we saw.
They technically could. Could they technically still get it? I don't think they could.
Oh, wait. No, I thought you meant the playoffs. Sorry, my bad. But Expert took down Team Liquid, obviously.
Right, which is good for you
past
guys.
Week.
That's big for you guys when it comes to the standings.
Yeah, it's good.
So, and then when we get to North America, we did see Tempo Storm maintain their front in the NA scene, I guess, to earn their spot in Sweden. But there was a bet made. I believe it was Matty B. Bad that put $2,000 on the table for Gale Force to defeat Tempo Storm. They win. Michael Udall and Crone get $2,000. They lose. 2 players that are known for their hair, they shave their heads. Well, they lost. And I
would never have taken that bet.
I haven't seen the shaved heads. Have you guys seen it? Like, I haven't.
They were supposed to do it today, I think. I think they're streaming it today.
I know Michael Udall tweeted like a disappointed, like I'm stressed out or something kind of tweet the other night. Wednesday, I'm shaving my head. I'm going to do some research to get supplies tonight, so no stream, but I'll see you tomorrow. This was 2 days ago. So Wednesday is today. It's pinned on his Twitter. Gonna shave my head tonight. It's been a weird couple of days. I'm gonna try to get my head on straight. Wow. Ooh, this is spicy. This is spicy stuff. I mean, but that sucks. Like Baker said, I never would have taken that bet. Like my wife would kill me if I shaved my head bald. She hates it when I get a haircut. She wishes I looked like a wilderness man. So, guys, go buy your Smash GG beanies, your winter hats, and mail them to Michael Udall and Crowan. Because that's harsh. Bam. Okay. 7 minutes left in voting. But big congrats again to Fnatic. And again, a congrats to Tempo Storm. Will this weekend decide the next team or no?
Don't forget about Conbox and Nomia as well. The minor regions. They've also qualified. For the mid-season brawl.
Right. To be honest with you, I wasn't up to date on that. I've been slacking on that front. I've been following NA and EU, and that's it. Truthfully.
Oh, wait, L5 as well. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, no, it should be good. Should be a good event. And then we have our HGC EU Crucible teams were defined in the playoffs just last night. That all wrapped up, the playoffs, to determine the 2 teams. Now, Dignitas Bakery himself is friends with a team called Team Zealot, featuring Grant Piquete, Zarmany. I forget the other 3, I'll be honest with you. But they clutched it out. That was a reverse sweep.
Yeah, the semifinals were insane. So they lose the first game to Lost Vikings on Curse. And I messaged their manager. I was like, yo, like, make sure that someone on that team just said, it's fine, they cheesed. Like, let's ignore that and just 3-0. Like, we know we have the better fundamentals, right? And he said, don't worry, like, someone's already done that. Like I think we're good. I'm like, okay. And then they lose the second game, and they just got seriously outplayed by the enemy. It ended up something like 27 kills to 3. Like, their macro game was solid, but they just lost every team fight, like, catastrophically. It was like 5-man wipe after 5-man wipe. And I'm like, oh god, the O2 down. And so I'm like, can they do it? I'm not sure. But I tweeted out the O2 down, like, Zealots O2 down, but they're going to reverse sweep. And then they did it.
They did
the
it.
Gods. I'm really happy for them.
No, that was fantastic for them to be able to get that spot. Then our boy BKB got his on Team Gang Gang, I think they're called.
Mm-hmm. Gang Gang. Yeah,
Gang
Team Gang.
Such a BKB team name. They got their win, and that puts them into the Crucible, and that's going to be in just the end of the month, right? So that's crazy. The NA Crucible team, so NA playoffs for Open Division, that'll be here on twitch.tv/Arcane8 will be next Monday, Tuesday. So that'll be, seeing who LFM, UTA, who can make it through, who can get their spot to go play in the Crucible. Crucible is best of 7 series. The winner goes to the HGC Pro League. So it's a big deal for NA and EU for these teams that are just earning their spots now. Bloodlust invites. I guess we've got like 4 minutes left, so we're running short on time here. We can take a look at the Bloodlust page very quick as we're getting close to wrapping up tonight. And we can. I guess Dunk, you just mentioned something. I actually almost forgot. The fact that teammate, you mentioned it in Skype, by the way, via chat. You can just speak up, dude. Bring it up. Dethrone the host. I'm happy to have. I'm human, man. I forget things. And
chat's been really curious about it, and I think it's worth talking about at least for a minute. The fact that Dyrus and teammate have come to agreement that they're going to stream some scrims this week,
Friday,
and he's going to be playing for the team. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was tomorrow or Friday. He's going to be playing with them as a sub this weekend in HGC and streaming some of the scrims they're doing on Friday, Jake says. So I don't know. I think this is really interesting. Someone from Blizzard in the Reddit thread said that it's allowed because of the sub rules. I mean, I know that it's allowed, but my stance is maybe like, okay, it's definitely the right thing to do from teammates' perspective, and it will get extra eyes on the game, but I'm not sure that, like, holistically it's the best thing if, like, he can just come in and sub for the pro scene. Like, I have really mixed feelings about it, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, kind of so do I. Like, I mean, the first thing is I'm concerned about the message that Dyrus has been playing Hearts for 2 weeks, and he's going to come in and sub in a HCC game, and teammate are probably going to win because it's teammate against No Tomorrow, and then it's going to look like, he played the game for 2 weeks, and now he's a pro-level player.
Yeah.
Which obviously is not the case. So on that regard, I'm kind of disappointed, I guess. But, like, I'm also optimistic because if it's like, oh, wow, this guy played the game for 2 weeks, and, like, he's went pro, he's playing for 40,000 people.
Yeah.
That could be a super inspirational thing for the people watching. It'd be like, oh, wow, maybe I could do that. And obviously, I always want more people aspiring to be pros. It's super cool.
It's definitely a cool publicity thing, especially because, like, Dyrus, he's not going to get stage fright. This is a guy that's played on massive arenas all over the world, from Korea to Italy. It doesn't matter. He played for TSM for a very long time. Super, super famous player. And you know what? I'm glad he's enjoying the game enough to commit to something like this. I think that's super cool. That to me is the biggest deal, is that he likes the game enough to commit to it and go for the win. So Lat AM, I actually haven't followed that. I know there was a team that got disqualified. I saw there was a Reddit thread about a team getting disqualified, but I didn't actually read into it. What's the dealie there? 10 seconds remain here. This is the end of the voting phase. Just the countdown: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. B Step should be our fourth team added. It's just going to finalize it, make sure no crazy last votes came through here on Smash GG. You see that Superstars, New Tomorrow, LFM, they were 3 of the teams that were eliminated on the last few nights. And it's taking its time. Allison, why is your what not working? Soya's he's out tonight. Allison, sorry. Come on, this is taking forever to finalize. We'll come back to this. Did you guys read about the Light AM stuff?
Yeah,
No.
so from what I understand, there was a situation where an admin kind of made a decision and then changed their mind and didn't make that decision. And then like the other team said you already made that decision or something. It was super weird. Obviously some issues with the rulings, but from what I understand, Blizzard head office, Blizzard Esports, stationed in Irvine, obviously the people that we know, like Matt, Milkfat, and there's going to be an investigation into what happened.
Oh, okay. That's good. Nice.
And then we'll see what comes out of it, for sure.
The page has changed a little bit, where there's no longer voting, and now it shows. I'm so confused. But yeah, we'll know in a moment. Bated breath here as to who the final team is going to be. Maybe there's like a last minute vote or something, and it's like taking time to count that in. But it's all fully automated there in Smash GG. Again, we can just talk about the shop before we transition into shoutouts in just a moment to wrap up the night. Thank you again to Cattleprod for that monster donation, unlocking the Town Hall preview show. That's going to be a lot of fun doing a live show. I like creating different type shows. That means I have to, organize a space and make it look pretty and make it sound good. And that's always a fun challenge for me because it's a very different thing than an esports broadcast. And I've never done something like that at home. I've done them at BlizzCon that were always just kind of like poo production, like a microphone on a table that everyone keeps kicking at last BlizzCon, where we had like 20 people in a room. If you guys remember that? And the audio,
that was good. That was fun.
Yeah, the audio quality is a little bit poopy. So doing something in my own home, I should be able to make something pretty dope, and I'm looking forward to that. Damn, yo, finalizing votes for days. What are you guys most excited about in the new patch?
Diva, obviously.
Really?
How's that even a question?
What's your favorite part about Diva?
Favorite part about Diva? Yeah. Well, obviously not attack while moving.
Is it her butt?
No, definitely not that.
I know I'm a child. It's okay though.
But I do think I think she's really cool.
Okay,
she'll be fun.
So while we're waiting, I want to discuss the Anub changes.
Yeah.
So they looked at Anub's level 4 and they realized that one town was overperforming there. It's got the highest win rate, by far the highest pick rate, better bobs, and they decided to nerf the damage on that. They thought the damage was the thing that needed nerf there.
Let me pull it up.
Not the duration or the huge 30% slow that applies after a stun, or the area or anything like that. Just doing too much damage. That talent.
You sound like you are upset about this.
I mean,
why would I be upset, Dunk?
Hey, it's better barbs. Clearly, the issue was it was giving an Uberak solid lane clear, and they just want to tune that back a little bit. Now you know.
Yeah. But about 4% less wave clear.
See, that Archer minion's gonna live now. He's gonna shoot one more arrow.
I wonder if that damage change actually does hit a break point where you have to take like an extra auto attack. I highly doubt it, but that would be cute if it did. But in all reality, that's like a super small change, yeah.
The breakpoints change all the time, though, because
of levels versus time.
Heroes scale by level, and they scale linearly. Minions, depending on the map, scale
in
not
random
linearly,
pairings
and just
over
just
time.
insane
Yeah.
statistics.
Yeah.
Also by time. So yeah, if they try and target breakpoints on minions, it almost never works.
Mm-hmm. I mean, would you have liked to see the slow nerfed or the duration?
Yeah, for sure. I think I still think this talent would arguably be the best one if it was a 1 second duration. Like I think
Really?
just having a slow, like a huge 30% slow
Mm-hmm.
after a stun is like almost invaluable.
Interesting.
And just in terms of stuff like dismounting,
Mm-hmm.
zoning, like maybe I wouldn't like to see them go down to 1 second, but I just think like nerfing the damage on this is such a terrible way to balance unless they think that the talent is doing exactly what they want for the game. But
Yeah.
I just think it's kind of unhealthy because it's picked like so much, and just because it's such a strong effect. But clearly they didn't see it that way, so they just want the numbers to come down a bit, like just reduce that win rate number.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just don't think that's a healthy way to balance the game in general.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. They targeted a lot of a noob's damage overall, though, with the Locust Swarm nerf as well. Well, actually, okay. My statement might not have been correct because I was seeing a lot more Cocoon than we're used to, I guess, lately on a noob.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like I've
for
seen
sure.
a ton of
Cocoons
Cocoon.
definitely matter.
Yeah, in competitive. And this doesn't even touch that. I'm not sure. I like the fact that Bed of Barbs is a cool talent on that tier because it adds something to the hero that you couldn't do otherwise. And there's like a lot of skill involved in planning it and using it correctly and stuff. But I don't know. Yeah. It's tough to say.
Well, it's also tough to say who our last team is if their system is infinitely finalizing. It's funny because the other nights I'm watching every time. The other night, 10 p.m. was our end time, and I'm watching every single time. And it was like, maybe 30 seconds at a maximum for the finalization process. And then tonight, maybe we broke it. I don't know with somebody. We have no way of knowing. All I know is that the final vote count that we saw was 1398 for BSEP, more than double of what teammate had, which is like huge. And unless somebody spirit bombed teammate at the last minute, that'd be insane. Guys, we talked about Lucio, we talked about Tyrande, we talked about Deva, we talked about Alarak all in the show. The VOD will be on Arcane 8 on YouTube. You can download the MP3 on iTunes, you can download the MP3 on Google Play, on Stitcher, literally any of the RSS feeds. As far as I know, you can just listen to the show there. So if you missed those discussions, there is a lot of good stuff you can find. I highly encourage you watch the VOD because it's fun, and we tend to use I try to show gameplay and stuff to make it more relatable to you guys as we're talking about things. So it's just youtube.com/arcane8 or hear the VOD on Twitch. Really, really good discussions, I'd say, tonight about the changes, the new heroes, Lucio, everything. So if you missed those parts of the show, check them out. We're trying to hold off before we close out the show to see who the final team is and make the announcement live. But I don't know. It's been about 10 minutes now, and I feel we might have to just tweet it out.
Okay, so we'll try 2 more minutes of stalling, and then I think we'll give up because I've still more to talk about with Better Bobs.
There we go. Let's go.
So I brought up some stats, right? So the talent has a 70% pick rate. It has a 61% win rate. So for context, a noob has a 56.8% win rate. This talent has 61% win rate. The next highest talent on this tier is 55.5%. So this is like a hugely overperforming talent, right?
Yeah.
And they nerfed the damage by 4%. I can't
they nerfed the
believe
damage
it.
by 10%.
Wait,
Right?
what?
23 to 21 is closer to 10 than
Oh.
4.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah, but I mean,
bad.
I agree with what you're saying. Like, it's a pretty trivial damage decrease.
See, Bakery, you got
I
caster
mean-
math. You get it.
Like, I don't.
I thought it was only 1 damage decrease, but it was 2.
Wasn't it 2?
Yeah, it was 2. It was 2.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Anubrak overall is way overperforming. Do you think they should look at that before they try to adjust the talent tiers, like, in such a small way? Like, do you think it would be time better served for them to look at Anubrak as a whole than to, like, do this minute change to a talent tier? Of course, you can kind of do both at the same time, and they are trying to change a lot of things this patch for Anubrak. But I do find it curious that he's, like, way overperforming in Hero League, and they've been very slow about dealing with it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, so I think first off, it's a very good start to target Nerubium armor. As I've said for a long time, Dampen Magic was unbelievably broken compared to Spell Shield. For the longest time, it was a level 1 talent. And obviously they hit it with some pretty heavy nerfs. It's much less spell armor. Now it's a much longer cooldown and so on. So I definitely appreciate the steps they're taking with Nerubian armor. But I don't think Regen Master was that far behind either. So I think just in general, Anub's really, really overperforming. And I would have liked to see them kind of approach that basically in terms of like nerfing just the noob's effectiveness, like
maybe the passive spell armor he has permanently that got him into this mess in the first place.
Yeah, maybe taking a look at that. Or I think how I would approach it is probably just increasing cooldowns on his CC, so that in fights it wouldn't affect how good he is, but it just means that you need to get a lot of value from initially going in.
So you're saying increase the cooldown on his Q, not his E, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then like increase cooldowns on Q and W is where I would go.
Oh, even W, since he's already got so much passive spell armor. Yeah, I guess that's fair. And W summons beetles, which is obnoxious. That would also nerf him in that regard too. It nerfs the straight.
Yeah. And I think it's enough of like a multiplicative nerf that you would see like some real effects from that, and it wouldn't affect how he skirmished, which has always been the cornerstone of Anub for me. Is Anub's a skirmishing hero, and he'd skirmish just as well with these changes. So that's where I'd like to see the nerfs go.
Yeah, could be good. Could be good. If they end up doing that eventually. It's like someone in chat just asked, so bets on when Malf will be nerfed. They'll nerf him next patch, but they'll just nerf the damage on his Moonfire. That'll be his nerf. It'll be good. Take his lane clear away. Force you to get Moonburn. Well, I think we're going to move to the shoutouts. We've waited, we've stalled, and the final team of Bloodlust will be determined soon. TM voting has concluded. I can tell you that much, and the website has to calculate all of the votes that were received. There were a ton of votes that went during the show, and we know Gale Force, Team Freedom, and Tempo Storm will be 3 of the teams playing in Bloodlust, which is still a good ways away, but we wanted to give time for that. Full details on the qualifiers should be ready for next week's TownHall Heroes. We're going to be launching the qualifiers at the end of the month. The Arcanum basically runs. You can actually look at the dates here on our Arcane 8 Twitch page. You can see the broadcast dates for the Arcanum. It's going to be on Tuesday. Oh, I just saw an update. There it is. We got it. It's B-Step did in fact get the win. I can't see the final vote counts, but I'm sure I could ask someone at Smash GG to confirm what the final count was there on the side of Team 8. But Team 8 was eliminated, so if they want to play in Bloodlust, they'll have to go through the Pro Qualifier, which will be in July. That's going to be an 8-team invitational, single elimination bracket for the top 8 teams in NA that are not already there. So that will mean that there will be some non-HGC teams invited to compete in that for a chance to just get the auto lock in. And Team Freedom, Gale Force, Tempo, B-Step, they will not be in that qualifier. It's going to be a purely just quick, couple day qualifier, weeknights kind of deal. So that does not conflict with the HGC schedules. Let us move to the shout-outs. Baker Rizzle, dropping the knowledge I'll show. What's good, my friend?
So I will quickly do Zoya's shout-outs. So guys, thank you so much for voting to Bloodlust. We're gonna get you those teams and AMAs, and but by the way, Jake, I just want to say I'm not a confirmed caster for Bloodlust. By the way, I'm not confirmed. More info coming soon.
Thanks,
right, so shout outs to my team, obviously. Shout outs to Team Dignitas. Shout outs to you guys for making the show so good, and my best regards to Zoya, and I hope to have him on next week so I can have some banter with him. And also, we're gonna qualify for the mid-season pool.
Do it, man. You better do it. Or else. Dunkus.
Shout out to Bakery Zoya, the second best Zoya in the universe. Shout out to Zoya. Hope everything ends up okay, man. And yeah, I don't know. That's it. Dunk Bear's got my back, man.
Shout out to everyone supporting Bloodlust. You know, the compendium style crowdfunding has been insane. It's so fun to see what kind of products people are interested in. It's so fun to give people their direct contribution option they want, right? Some people care about the Hot Pepper Challenge. Some people just want to see the prize pool go up. Even though the Hot Pepper Challenge does the same thing, altogether, the prize pool has been risen something like $1,200, something like that. So that means the prize pool is around $3,700 for Bloodlust already. And I'm working on more sponsors to try to raise that further on my side. And then, of course, you know, as you guys, if you buy shirts, if you donate, whatever, that of course will all go where you want it. You want things like the Town Hall preview show, or you want things like more casters, you get to choose, or you just want to give the players more money to work towards. Completely the choice of the community on that part. And I'm super thankful for the crazy support already. So thank you guys so much. Big shout outs to you guys for the great discussion today. We talked about my favorite hero for an hour. It was probably the best episode of Town Hall ever. And because Tyrande is Bae. And then we got Diva, and she's got an Asuka plug suit. Love it. That's going to do it here for episode 144. Next week, we should have a show the normal time, but I'm flying to Vegas for Kubi's wedding. Kubi's getting married, guys. You guys remember him, one of the original hosts of the show. I'll get to see Dunk there. We're going to have a good time. My buddy Unctious, he was part of Bloodlust last year, he'll be there. It's going to be a really fun time, and I'm so excited for my best friend in the world, Kubi, getting married to his lovely fiance. So, yeah, that's it this week. We'll see you next time. Take a look at this cat.